G'day, I'm DK.
And I'm Ardeet.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Two Ticks Town Talk, a segment from the Australia Talks podcast.
Yeah, this is one of our favourite parts of bringing the podcast to you, our listeners.
So please enjoy this segment from the regular podcast.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the desert, square, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've traveled.
All right, this week's Two Ticks Town Talk is a quick one. It's all about what's on the ground or what's in the ground, and also what's not on the ground. This week we're heading to northern New South Wales, literally on the border with Queensland, as close as you can be to Queensland without being in Queensland. We're specifically going to a place called Bald Rock National Park because by this point, my dear listeners, you should know that I love weird rocks. So this is a Two Ticks Rock Talk. So the Bald Rock National Park is named after its most prominent feature, Bald Rock, which is a very large granite outcrop. It rises 260 meters above the surrounding landscape and is almost 1,300 meters above sea level. It's quite large. It's about 750 meters long and about 500 meters wide, and this makes it the largest granite monolith in Australia. It's also sometimes called a granite dome because of the shape, which is also why it's called Bald Rock, because it kind of looks like the back of someone's head.
So I've just looked up a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is hard to convey what this looks like through an auditory medium, so I need you to use your imagination for a second. I want you to imagine that you're driving past rolling hills, significant mounds, small mountains, if you like, most, covered in trees and greenery, just rolling hills, one after the other. But then one of them is sort of a white-grey colour. There's basically no green at all, a complete outlier in the landscape, and that is Bald Rock. So what is Bald Rock? I'm so glad that you asked, because I will tell you right now. The granite which forms Bald Rock was emplaced into the surrounding metamorphic and sedimentary rock about 247 million years ago, so just a couple of days ago. Subsequent uplifting and erosion has removed the majority of the surrounding sediments, and the metamorphic rocks with Bald Rock remain as a result of its resistance to weathering. So basically, in plain English, what that means is big hard rock got pushed out of the ground from below, the dirt fell off, and now what's left is very hard rock. Trees and grass can't grow on hard rock, so no green. Very bald. Bald Rock also served as a neutral ground for 3 of the Aboriginal nations in the area, which is pretty cool, actually. So these are the Juckambole, the Bunjagal, and Camiliro peoples. It was an important trade route for these 3 nation groups. Meetings and trade occurred without each nation having to journey through the other's territory, as Bald Rock was considered a boundary positioned fairly between each of them, which makes sense because it's easily visible from far away. It is cleared. No trees are going to grow. You don't have to maintain it. It's got reasonable access for the surrounding area, and it very much feels like a natural sort of meeting spot, as it's easily identifiable. It's a landmark you can see from many, many kilometers around. I think it's the perfect place to mark the edge of your territory and come together. Today, the thing to do is to climb it. Thankfully, the local people, it is sacred to them in a certain way, but also they do allow access. So there is a national park. The access is pretty good as well. You can get there just in a car. There is a sealed road right up to the car park and then walking tracks up to the summit. There are four main trails that you can do that are well maintained and signposted. But I think it should go without saying that you will need a decent pair of walking shoes, and impaired mobility is quite limited on some of these trails. But you can get access to the summit. You can walk around on the bald face, where you will get an incredible view of the surrounding countryside. There are also toilets, drinking fountains, and barbecues. So come and make a bit of a day trip of it. There is also a small campsite available if you do want to make a bit of a weekend of it. As I was talking at the start of the show, this could be a good opportunity to get out for the weekend. There is only like 12 campsites though, so it's not going to be a big weekend with lots and lots of people. But still, I think a pretty cool weekend out.
That's
bit of
not
bad
bad
news.
though, having that small, like having a small number of people there. That's not a bad thing though.
I've actually stayed at a couple of small national park campsites like that, and sometimes they're absolutely fantastic because they're limited in size. Not a lot of people go there. Oftentimes you end up with a place to yourself, which is pretty cool. So I would definitely recommend some of these smaller places. The bad news for our international listeners thinking you might be able to make a day trip from Sydney, it's about an 8.5 hour drive. So probably don't from Sydney. Definitely possible, but more than a day trip. The good news though, if you're in Brisbane, it's about a 3 hour drive out of Brisbane. So if you're in southeast Queensland, go south of the border, go check out the Bald Rock. Be quick though, because you do need to be careful down there. You never know what those southerners are up to and what they might do. Lock your doors as you drive over the border. But look, this is a quick one. I wanted to talk about Bald Rock because it is pretty cool. I've put as always, I've put links in the show notes. I do think it's worth having a quick look at because it's just something weird and unique. You know how I love my weird rocks, and this is a big one that now I really want to go and check it out. So it's a bit far for me for a day trip, but might stay in the campsite for the weekend.
Well, 3 hours from Brizzy's not bad too. So if you are coming across, I mean, I was going to say there's worse things than going to Queensland, but I'm struggling with you know how much I love Queensland, bloody hell. Nicking into Brisbane for a night or two, that would be, you would see some good countryside on the drive to it, and look, 3 hours there, have a bit of a walk up, have a bit of a sit back and relax and drive back, all very doable in a day. And look, if you're from one of those places where 3 hours sounds like, my God, I'd be halfway across my country, well, maybe work out a hotel nearby to stay. But if you're happy to sort of knock those Ks on the head, it's quite doable. Yeah.
Look, I think for something like this, it probably is. Well, no, it definitely is. It's worth making a bit of a trip. There's a lot of incredible places around this country that aren't super close to major centers, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's kind of fun to go on a bit of a drive, bit of a trip to go and check out some of these places. And also there's the few places that are really close to major population centers become really popular. And as we all know, love people, but we kind of ruin stuff in big numbers. And unfortunately, we've ruined a lot of really cool stuff. So sometimes having things a little bit off the beaten path is good. So if you're in the southeast Queensland sort of corner, particularly if you're in like Toowoomba or Ipswich or something like that, a really cool day trip would be to go and have a look at this thing. So it's pretty impressive, and it looks like, as much as there are walks and stuff like that, I think it's pretty open. You can sort of, I wouldn't recommend sliding down the face because it does get pretty steep, but you can have a bit of fun. Definitely Instagrammable and all of that. So I I think, yeah.
If you do slide down, make sure someone's videoing it.
Yeah, I want to see a picture of you crashing to the bottom. Do not recommend. Do not recommend.
No, we don't recommend that at all.
Yeah, but if you are, video it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And send it to us. Yeah.
Send it straight to us. Take a skateboard. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Wow. God.
So this is another opportunity. Get out there, see this amazing country, somewhere really, really cool, just south of the Queensland border, a little bit far away for the New South Welshmen in the Sydney metro area, but certainly a weekender, and just another one of these cool, weird places that we seem to have so many of in this country. So that's this week's Two Ticks Town Talk on Bald Rock, New South Wales.
Very good.